morning, Social Media Day. Scott, thank you so much for that incredible introduction. We are talking all things social media management today, my friends. What's kind of interesting, when we talk about social media management, what we're really talking about is time management. What we're really talking about is life management. This morning, I just heard a stat that said, there's a million stats, of course, about how much time we spend scrolling on these devices. But this morning, the stat said that if you add up all of our scroll time, we actually spend about 3 months a year on these devices, on social media. And so I just want to start off by saying that when we think about social media management, being time management, being life management, it's joy management. It is a vibe that we are managing and how we show up for ourselves and our business. So can we just start by saying that if this is live footage of, let me get the slides up here. Good. If this is live footage also of, we have my AV guy, Hartman, my husband here, who's clicking frantically. Do we have slides up, babes? Okay. Hold on 1 second. Oh, okay. All right, he'll get them up in a second. Anyway, so it's Monday morning. It is 8:30 here. We are coming to you live from Laguna Beach, California. And it is the beginning of May. Summer is coming, the start of a week. Your to-do list is getting longer and longer. And yet here you are, showing up and investing your precious time in your personal and professional development, in learning about how you can better use social media to grow your business. And so I just want to start by saying, let's just go ahead and salute the show up. Let's salute the fact that you are here spending your precious time to grow your business and to catapult your success. So do me a favor, put down your pen, put down your phone for a minute, take your right hand, and I want you to take your hand and put it on your back. And I want you to I know it seems a little ridiculous, just play with me. Pat yourself on the back, and I want you to say, good job, me. Good job, me. Maybe take 2 hands, good job, me. Maybe it's more of a fun, dorky, good job, me celebration dance. All right, good. We have celebrated the time that we are investing in ourselves, which is fantastic. Okay, now today, we all know it can be very challenging on a virtual to not be distracted by all the other tabs we have open, not be distracted by our phones. I recently attended an event learning all about deep dive AI technology, and I found it was one of the world's best speakers. It was still hard not to look at my device. So here is what I'd love to challenge you to do. Because you've already invested your precious time in showing up for yourself today, I want you to commit to either taking your phone, putting it face down out of arm's reach, maybe tossing it across the room. Maybe I like to put mine in my desk drawer. And the point of that is not just so you stay focused on me and what I'm going to share with you this morning, but so you can create the space that you need to be able to listen to what comes up for you. Because we know in these trainings, it's not necessarily the stats or the graphs or the to-do or all the things anxiety that social media trainings can certainly bring, but it's the space in between. It's listening for that aha moment, that insight, that moment for you where the speaker says that one key moment and it triggers that light bulb breakthrough. The one that you need to move forward after social media day and begin to take this entire experience from just a bunch of great ideas to real tangible implementation into your business and into your life. Is this working now? Okay, so this is us on a Monday. We're going to salute the show up. And before we dive in, finally, I just want to share that this is a time for you to really pay attention to not all the things anxiety. Because oftentimes when we do social media trainings, I don't know about you, but there's so much great advice. There's so many experts, strategies, platforms. It can be sort of an all the things anxiety experience. And so for today, if in the past you've attended a training and maybe you learned incredible strategies, case study stories, but for some reason you found yourself walking away and nothing really changed. You still felt overwhelmed by social media. You still felt that your effort was not being matched by your results. And I'm here to tell you, it's not because the strategies you learned were not good. It's not because the experts that were teaching you were not fantastic. It's not because you were lazy. The reason that you probably have not seen the results that you would like to see when it comes to really elevating your social media success is probably because the framework that you learned was quite simply too complicated for your lifestyle. In reality, doing all the things is fantastic if you have a team of 5 people, but if you are one person, the key to really grabbing a gear and going to the next level with social media is making sure that what you are being taught is simple enough that it can realistically fit into your lifestyle. And so that is going to be our focus for today. Okay, game plan. I spent the last 2 weeks and I pulled my entire social media network and I said, if you are a network marketer, if you are a direct seller, please ping me with what is keeping you up at night when it comes to your social media marketing. And the questions flooded in. You can go to the slide, babe. The questions flooded in, but the questions that we got really were pretty much in 3 key buckets. We were talking about messaging. We had questions about mechanisms, tools, and platforms. And finally, we had a lot of questions about mindset. So we're going to go through those 3 key questions today and hopefully surface some of those aha moments that you need to take your business and your social media presence and your life to the next level. Social Media Day, friends. How's that sound? Good? Let me hear you cheer in your house if you're here for it. Awesome. In the meantime, too, if you want to jump on Instagram, Ashley from my team would be monitoring all of our DMs. If you have questions that you'd like to ask me, you can go on Instagram, mrs.erin.king. Ask your question. Our team is going to be watching. I have my computer here pulled up as well, so we'll be looking for questions, and I think Scott will have some for us later as well. Okay, friends, let's do this. The number 1 question that I am asked morning, noon, and night, online, offline, all the time is this: what should I post? And really, the better question we want to reframe for today's conversation is not necessarily what should you be posting, but how you should be posting. Now, a study came out that I found fascinating in 2020, and the study found that not only are we more persuasive face-to-face than we are on digital, but we are actually 34 times more persuasive when we are talking or on a Zoom or on a live than we are when we are typing. To break down that math, friends, and I am no math whiz, but the math is this: it took 200 digital asks. Will you look at my product? Will you consider me? Will you look at this link? Will you like my post? Will you share this message? 200 typed requests to equal the same number of yes as just 6 in-person asks. This is why at the core of the direct selling business for decades and decades, in-home parties and face-to-face moments were so powerful. Because the reality is that there's a difference between how we type and how we talk. And this is at the core of how you want to think about your posting, is shifting yourself into a simple methodology that can help you show up more consistently and more persuasively. So, question for everyone in the audience here today: what is the least persuasive word in the English language? Also the most used? Go ahead and shout it out at your computer screen if you know the answer. The answer is the word I, me, we, our. And the truth is, we're offline. We only use the least persuasive word in the English language less than half the time, 40% of the time. Like the scene from Bridesmaids, one of the inarguably greatest movies of all time. Helen, amazing. So in the scene from Bridesmaids, they are kicking the tennis ball, hitting it back and forth over the net. And just like in real life, that's the conversation. How are you? Good. How are you? We keep the conversation ball moving back and forth over the net. We only talk about ourselves about 40% of the time. Now, friends, imagine that tennis net comes up and becomes a screen, blocking us from our nonverbal communication, our empathy, our vibe, our ability to see our recipient, our potential prospect or buyer. That number then jumps to 80% of the time. So when we're typing behind screens, we are actually typing like we are in selfie mode, where it is all about us, that we love a good selfie. But when you think about the fact that offline, we talk like friends, but online we type like strangers. And so the very simple shift that you want to begin to make for you and your teams when it becomes how you are messaging more persuasively is this: the key is to intentionally begin to type more like you talk. Type more like the influential, powerful, persuasive human that you already are in real life, but so it transcends the screen. Now, one way to do this, which is very simple, is quite simply when it comes to your social media screen, you show about you visually, of course. You can show about, of course, your products, your journey, your story, your family, your behind the scenes, all the wonderful ideas that the other speakers today are going to be sharing with you. Yes, it's your account. Show about you. But the key is to make sure that your language is typing about your audience. In this way, you can begin to mimic who you already are in real life, but make sure that she or he shows up from behind the screen. Now, this sounds pretty easy, right? Focus on your customer. Okay, duh. But how do we actually do that when we have such busy lives, such a crazy time keeping hold of all the social media platforms and all the things that we have to manage? The last 15 years, I have been blessed enough to work with some of the world's biggest brands, friends. Everyone from the Oscars in Hollywood to the United States Navy. I have trained global sales teams from Target, Adobe, Visa, Johnson & Johnson, you name it. And over the years, working with my team, what I found was that we would get all the things anxiety. The frameworks we were using were just too complicated. And sure, here and there, we'd hit it out of the park and it would be great, just like you. You've probably had a great viral post or that one live that crushed or that one moment where you really hit it and you thought, ooh, we did something. How can we do that more often? Well, here's the thing. We combed through thousands and thousands of social media posts, emails, group chats, text messages. And we wanted to see, like, how can we find the pattern that more intentionally, strategically can attract the yes? Yes, I will meet with you. Yes, I'm interested. Yes, I like this. Yes, tell me more. So if you want to attract attention, increase your influence, and sell smarter, this very simple method that we have created over the years, we found these 3 key elements to be in the exact order in place every single time. And when they were, we found that our chances of driving the yes, driving the click, driving the open were much, much higher. So we developed it, and it is called the pub method. Now, the pub method is what you can use to turn strangers into friends. You will notice here there is some shamrocks here in the background. I am the granddaughter of 4 Irish immigrants. We have 36 first cousins. Count them. Yeah, Christmas, no drama, very low key. Anyway, so Nana was incredible. She turned 89 last week, by the way. God bless her. But Nana has always been my hero, the biggest inspiration in my life, because Nana has what the Irish call the gift of gab. The gift of gab is that ability to turn a stranger into a friend. In Ireland, Irish pubs were places for thousands of years that were not just about, they serve alcohol, but that wasn't the point. The purpose was it was a place where it was about storytelling and connection. They were grocery stores and job centers, places where humans could come together and connect and see each other. And Nana would always say that in an Irish pub that there are no strangers, only friends you haven't met yet. So this pub method is what you can use to remember to pub before you publish. Here's the method. If you don't have one of your own, this is a very simple framework that will allow you to optimize your posts on social going forward. 3 very simple steps. You want to ask yourself, am I opening with something that is truly personal to my audience? From there, you want to ask, am I offering something that is genuinely, specifically useful? And finally, you want to ask yourself, am I landing the plane? Am I keeping it brilliantly, beautifully brief? Personal, useful, brief. Now, it sounds very simple, but it might not be exactly what you're thinking. So let's dive in a little further. This is my friend Amanda. Whoops. Is it working? Got it, babe. There we go. This is my girlfriend, Amanda. This is her and her beautiful mama. She joined a network marketing company 10 years ago. She had a situation with her family come up, and it was sort of the only option that she could see forward. She's an only child with 4 kids and was the primary breadwinner at her corporate job. So she jumped into network marketing full blast. And it was 10 years ago. She's a go-getter, and she made all the classic mistakes. A lot of caps lock, a lot of shouty. Even my mom, who loves Amanda, unfollowed her on Facebook. She was posting a lot of content that looked like this. Next slide, please, babe. That looked a little bit like this. If you can go full screen on that one, babe. Sorry, guys, we're having a little technical difficulty. Okay, you want to go full screen on that? There we go. All right, so have a look at this post that Amanda was sending out. We'll sum it up. Sappy post alert. When I decided to walk away from my corporate career and become an ambassador for a health and wellness company, I had no clue what I was doing. What I had was a desire for more. I didn't know how it was going to go down, but I was hopeful I could have the best of both worlds: time with family, a flexible schedule, and freedom from financial stress. Now, there is nothing wrong with this post, but friends, have you seen a post like this before in your newsfeed? Yes or yes? Yes, of course you have. So I sat down with Amanda because she was so frustrated. She said, no one is engaging with my content. People are unfollowing me. I need to get traction on this immediately. So I said, I have a method. It's called the PUB method. I use it with Fortune 100 companies, global sales teams. Let's apply it to your direct selling business. I said, let's begin with the very first 10 words. Are we opening with something that is truly personal to your audience so they can see themselves in focus? So we changed around the open from starting here to looking at what was going wrong. What was going wrong was that there was a landmine of I bombs and my bombs. The truth is, every single time that we have a landmine of I bombs and my bombs, our audience is not the one in focus. They are not in the selfie. We are. And so every time we say, like, I'm so excited too, I wanted to reach out, I was hoping to, I need, we are typing like we are in selfie mode. So the reality is here, if you notice when I came on camera earlier, I didn't say, I'm so excited to be here, which is what we do, right? You turn on your live and you say, hi guys, I'm excited to be here. I wanted to come on. If you notice, flipped it around and said, have you ever thought about the fact that social media management is actually time management? Have you thought about the fact that time management is actually life management? Flipping the focus so your audience is in the selfie right away is the fastest key to making sure you stop the scroll. Immediately grab their attention, have them lean forward and see those 3 magical words. Tell me more. Here are some of the tried and true magical phrases that my team and I have surfaced. This is 15 years, you guys, of A/B testing thousands of posts. Have you ever imagined that you, so there you are? Those are 3 of the most powerful opens that will stop the scroll when you're doing a one-to-many public message. When it's a private DM one-to-one message, instead of saying, I wanted to reach out, you can flip it around and say, your proper noun, your person, place, or thing is fantastic. Your relationship, your vacation, your dog, your kids, your workout, something specific to them where they say, ooh, I'm in focus. Or my very favorite phrase for a cold reach out to a prospect, it looks or seems or sounds like you. It looks like you. By flipping the focus, now we begin to care. So for Amanda, she changed the open of her post to say, have you ever thought you had life perfectly planned out, but then something unexpected threw you way off your path? DSA friends, does this resonate for anyone from what we've all been through in the last 2 or 3 years? Can I get a yes? Of course. Now we're saying, well, yeah, couple things have thrown us off our path the last 2 or 3 years. The truth that we all know to be true is that persuasion is personal. Persuasion is so personal. And so when we begin with what's personal to us, me, I'm so excited. Look at my product. First of all, we sound just like everyone else. But secondly, we're not really triggering that primal instinct, yes, where someone says, ooh, this is about me. Go on. Persuasion is personal. So the next step of the method for Amanda's post, we sat down and said, okay, are we offering something that is truly useful? Now, on social media, we are all guilty of believing that posting an image of what we are doing and then describing said image is useful. You have always on vacation Vicky telling us that she's still in Italy. You know, she's eating all the carbs and all the gelato, but she's losing weight because she's walking so much, right? We have perfect mom Pam just in her white jeans, just running around. She's 97 children, but everything in her house is perfectly white, right? She's like, here I am with my kids. We can see that, Pam, and we love that for you. You got just went to the gym, my personal favorite. You know, this guy hates shirts, but he loves a good bathroom mirror selfie. He's like, just went to the gym. We can see that, Jim, right? We're so guilty of posting images and posting videos and then just describing what we can kind of already see. What's truly useful is what your audience cannot see from the image alone. Details like a specific story that we can't see from the imagery, why this moment truly matters. Truly, anything that is non-Googleable, your unique take, your unique perspective, but through the lens of your audience. So, for example, let's look at Amanda. Amanda's photo of herself and her mom. Imagine that you are crushing your corporate career when suddenly you need more flexibility to care for your ailing family member. That's where I found myself just 1 year ago. Now, pause. Now, Amanda's talking about her why, her non-Googleable for joining this business. But by flipping it around and saying, imagine that you're crushing your career where suddenly you need to care for someone in your family. You know, her mom was sick and needed help. Anyone who has ever had to care for an ailing family member, and raise your hand if you're on that team with me, because it is no light task to undertake. They're going to stop their scroll and say, yeah, I have been there. Or if you haven't had that exact situation, you may have had a moment in your career where something came up where you needed more flexibility. The point is when we flip that language, now our audience is listening. Now they're open to our message because it's truly useful that you're sharing what you can't see from the polished, perfect Instagram photo of her and her mom. We're seeing the backstory. So when she finally says, yeah, that's where I found myself. Well, now we're saying, go on, Amanda, tell us more. Okay. Finally, and this is the step that is the most challenging for most of us who have big, bold personalities. And that is we want to make sure that we are not guilty of sending the great multi-scroller wall of text. Ooh, have you ever opened your phone and gotten the great multi-scroller wall of text and been like, ooh, this is going to be good news, right? Like, no, it's usually the beginning of a terrible story, some kind of rejection, some kind of drama, some kind of fight. When you see that big blue great wall of text, you're like, oh, here we go. You know, this is the beauty of emojis, people. Actions speak louder than words, and an image tells 1,000 of them. So we have to figure out how to become more brief and land the plane when it comes to our social media content. When we're behind screens, we tend to repeat ourselves. We tend to go on and on and on because we cannot see the human on the other side of the net or the screen going, oh, wow, we're still with the religion and the politics. Okay, that was a choice. We're not going to bring that up at book club, right? There's these moments where we can't see our audience either like falling asleep or checking out or looking at you like you're nuts. We can't see these nonverbal reactions, so we just go Dear Diary, show up and throw up, all the things. The best way to keep it brief, and trust me, this is the hardest step for me because I'm a talker, all right? The best way we can keep it brief is quite simply to land the plane by ending our message with a quite simple A or B. A or B. So many times we make the classic mistake on social media of asking an open-ended question. How was your weekend? What do you think? The problem is it's too vague, it's too big, and it's too much work. Think about how you scroll through social media. You're in line at Starbucks. You're trying to escape a boring meeting. You're checking out from a virtual training, which obviously you're not, but other trainings in the past, maybe you hadn't been to social media day yet where we brought the fire for you, but you're escaping your lean back psychology. You're wasting time. You're not in a lean forward psychology, like typing on Google. And so to come up with an answer, it's too much work. It's too much typing. That's not your psychology. And we're oftentimes afraid that our answer won't be good enough. If someone says, how was your weekend? And I said, gosh, I killed it. I was in bed by 9. I got to watch the new Bridgerton Queen Charlotte, which is fabulous. I had a face mask on. I was living my best life. Maybe the person underneath, like Scott Kramer, he and Angel just went to Palm Springs for a fabulous party, having all the fun. Well, now my weekend looks pretty lame. So I had to delete my comment because now it's not as cool compared to someone else. The open-ended question seems like it would create more engagement, but it actually creates less engagement psychologically. We cannot help but weigh in when our choice is A or B. So for Amanda, we ended her post with this. If life has thrown you a curveball lately, which are you choosing to embrace, faith or fear? Faith or fear? Faith or fear, DSA, social media day fam. Can I get a faith? Nice and loud. Shout at your computer screen like no one's listening because I can hear you. Of course, we're choosing faith over fear. But by giving them a quick option to weigh in, you're going to create a lot more engagement around your post. So let's look at the difference between her original photo with her original post, which is fine, nothing wrong with this. And then when she put the pub in publish. Before I show you, same image, pub caption, disclaimer. We all know that the Instagram algorithm is very complicated. Okay, what time of day did you post? What hashtags? What are the Kardashians doing? Is Mercury in retrograde again? Why is it always in retrograde, right? There's a lot of factors that go into it. But that being said, we shared the same image with a pub caption. Now, this has 19 likes. If we're using a like as a metric of people saying, yes, tell me more, look at the difference. Same image, pub caption. 10 times the yes. 10 times the likes. That is a huge difference in how the world is responding to her. So Amanda began to use the pub method. She now 10 years later is at the very top of her network marketing business. She has thousands of incredibly dynamic men and women in her downline. Her mom is doing great. She's taking care of her. Her husband is backing her up. Everyone is living their best life. She looks, sounds, feels, is incredible. And most importantly, my mom is following her on Facebook again, which is the best news of all. So this is how you can begin to think through looking at your posts, your DMs, even your lives and presentations like this. Flipping the language in the beginning to a little more you, a little less I. Making sure you're being specifically useful with non-Googleables, what they can't see. Show about you, of course, but type about them. And finally, keeping it brilliantly, blessedly brief with a gorgeous A or B ask. Do you want to talk on Tuesday or Thursday? Would you prefer product A or product B? When you think of this, does it make you think of A or B? Getting into that habit, you'll begin to start to see that your responses, how the world says yes to you, how you turn strangers into friends online will begin to completely revolutionize your success, your results, and most importantly, make sure that you are selling smarter and using this precious time by prioritizing using an intentional optimization technique. Okay, we're going to pause there for a second. I am getting a lot of questions on my Instagram, but Scott, I know that you're getting questions as well. Do you want to come up on stage for a minute and kind of let us know how the Social Media Day community is faring so far in our training today?
Absolutely. How you doing, Erin?
Good to see you, Scott.
Good to see you as always. You know, I love this segment so much. I use it. You're in my head when I write every single email now because I'm the king of starting with the kind of the no value first 10 words, like the I hope your day is going well, which is such a waste. And then the I wanted to reach out, you know, it's so hard. How do you this one questions comes in with this pub method. How does it differentiate between DMs or private messages versus posts and things? Like, do you have to make it more personal? Like, what? Talk a little bit more about just how I interact with people then.
Yeah. Well, first of all, don't feel bad because I have taught this for over a decade and I will still find myself, and I'll go, oh my gosh. So it's very hard to retrain the brain, but it's like a muscle. And once you begin to build it, it does become more natural as you found sort of using this throughout some of your creative campaigns. The key here is to keep in mind that what feels comfortable in real life is not what feels comfortable necessarily online. So for example, if you and I sat down as we do in one of our meetings and I just dove right in, you would think, whoa, this is kind of awkward. This is sort of, we're not building rapport. It's a little bit like too soon, coming in hot, right? So online, we try to do that same throat clearing, that same let's get everyone comfortable. But the reality is, we are getting 300 messages a day, as you know. And so our brains have evolved to make decisions faster and faster. We have about 10 words about the length of a mobile notification preview. Think about how you go through your email. Care, don't care, friend, foe, right? So we make decisions so much faster. So it feels rude to just dive right in with the message, but your recipient is actually grateful. It's like, oh, thank God they got to the point. They're getting in there, right? Now, for one-to-many versus one-to-one, the one-to-many, you can use that language like, imagine that have you ever, once you've stopped the scroll because someone sees themselves in your journey, then yes, you can flip it around and say, that was me too. Here's what happened. Because now you've earned the right to share your journey with them. When it's one-to-one, the key here in DMs is that when it comes to being the modern 21st century social seller, research is the new listening. I never, ever, and I never say never, but I really never, ever will message anyone, Scott, that I do not know without giving them a Google. Publicly available information. It sounds so simple. And yet how many Zoom calls do we get on with a prospect where we haven't researched them? How many times do we reach out with our pitch and we haven't even given them a quick scroll through either their profile, anything publicly available about them, their business, anything at all that you can open with that says, Scott, it looks like you are an avid traveler, or it looks like you are based in Texas. It looks like you have an incredible company called Multibrain. Those opens are not going to make us immediate friends and besties if we're strangers. But what it does telegraph is, I see you, I did the work, I looked you up. I am not just playing a numbers game and spamming you without empathy. I want to connect on a genuine human level. Something so simple as just that first sentence can telegraph so much about setting yourself apart from the rest of the social sells spam, which sadly is pretty prevalent. As we all know, if you've been on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn inbox is just a sea. I'm just treading water into spam. I mean, it is just so many, as my friend Ron Tite says, he calls them pitch slaps, which is hilarious. And
I love it. It's so true. I dread seeing my LinkedIn inbox. It's just all.
Yeah. But so what we're trying to do is we're trying to just mimic the amount of time we spend talking about ourselves in real life. We talk about ourselves about 40% of the time. Online, it's 80% of the time. So a great rule of thumb for everyone listening, when you're getting started with this, how do I know if I'm using it the right amount? Just try to cut it in half. Try to cut the amount of time you're talking about yourself in half, and you'll begin to mimic the powerful, persuasive, influential person that you already are in real life.
One of the beautiful things, though, what you're saying here is it's kind of like, I wish I could sit down and have lunch with you, and then I would be able to write better to you, right? I know about you. That reality is you can spend 5 minutes scrolling through a profile, learning some kind of connection point, something that just brings you two together. I love travel. You love travel? It just doesn't it help make the connection that much faster?
100%. And the key is what you just did, which is specific and genuine, the intersection of specific and genuine, because oftentimes I'll get messages from people trying to sell me on everything. And they'll say like, loved your book or loved your work or loved this. And I'll write back and I'm like, which part? And then crickets, right? Because they didn't actually read my book. Or they'll say, love your work. And I'm like, which part? Nothing, right? So the key is specific. It looks like you love traveling in Latin America, and then genuine. If you don't really like to travel, you're not going to have much to talk about if you have fear of flying, right? So it has to be that specific, genuine, because if you just come out there and say like, love what you're doing, the problem is if you aren't genuine and you aren't specific, this strategy will actually backfire. Because our BS meter is sharp, it is alert, and it will turn us off so fast and turn that maybe into a no very quickly. So genuine and specific. So I hope that helps before we move on to our next question for the rest of the session.
No. I'm actually gonna step out. I want you to keep going because I know everyone's loving what you're giving here. So I know you got some more. So why don't I step out and come back at the end?
Sounds good. Okay, fantastic. So, babe, we're going to put the my AV guy, my husband, babe, very professional. Can you put the slides back up, please? Okay, so the pub method. So our second area here, we have about 15, 20, 30 minutes left in, I think 15 minutes in today's training. Second key here is we're going to be talking about mechanisms, social media mechanisms and tools. Now, the second biggest question that I have been getting, well, really the first biggest question as of the last couple of days, is all about the brand new technology that is freaking everybody out, artificial intelligence, particularly how we use a little tool called ChatGPT. Whew, okay. Now, in 15 minutes, we are not going to unpack everything we need to about ChatGPT, but let's go ahead and skim the surface. Let's address the elephant in the room, okay? I just did a talk on this recently in Texas, and it's interesting because everyone is so afraid of the real question that we are all asking. And at the core of what freaks people out about AI and ChatGPT is a heavy, existential, loaded, complex question. And that question is this: are we going to be replaced by artificial intelligence? Ooh, okay, yes. Monday morning, coming in hot with the super simple softball questions. Now, what I want to share with you is for the last 5 months, I run a digital agency called Strike Point Media. We're an Inc. 5000 company here in Laguna Beach, California. And when we first saw what was going on with ChatGPT, I will never forget, it was the first week of December. We had the cinnamon Christmas candle. Mariah Carey wasn't annoying yet. It's the holidays. Life is good. And then my husband Hartman over here, my AV guy, shows me ChatGPT and immediately ruined the peaceful Yuletide vibe because it was so mind-blowing. From that moment till today, about 5 months ago, we have been at my agency testing all kinds of AI tools across so many different disciplines and opportunities across so many verticals and industries. I'll give you the headline. Where I stand today, Monday, May 8th at 9:05 a.m. PST, my ultimate position on the role of AI, particularly in the direct selling industry, is that it is not human versus machine. It's human plus machine. This is not about being replaced. This is about being enhanced. And so a better question we should be asking ourselves instead of will I be replaced is this. You want to be asking yourself, how can I better use these artificial intelligence tools to enhance my emotional intelligence? Let's take a look at ChatGPT because it's the hottest tool on everybody's lips. It has shattered record after record. It's grown faster than Facebook, TikTok, Google combined. This is a platform that has passed the MCAT, the LSAT, the MBA exam. And so let's look at how most direct sellers are starting to experiment with this tool when it comes to leveraging AI for their social media content. Now, lean in, phones down. This is really, really an important point here. 99% of people are jumping into ChatGPT and they are saying something like this. Write an Instagram post for my direct selling business. Let's just read the first 2 sentences. Hey, friends, just wanted to remind you that my direct selling business is still up and running and I'm still in need of some loyal customers. Okay, pause. Hartman, back to me, full screen. I think we can all agree this is not a strong persuasive start to a social media post. So the key with how you think about delegating to AI, using AI, the key I want you to hear right now is that specifics are at the key of success. Specifics like this. Back to the slide, babe. Write an Instagram post for my direct selling business promoting our wellness ritual to stay-at-home moms, announcing our new product X, developed by our founder in conjunction with Y to solve Z problem. Write it in Reese Witherspoon's voice, but make it humorous for the above audience. You can say y'all, but don't overdo it. Open the post with, have you ever had a problem? So back to me, babe. So this is known as a prompt, a query to guide ChatGPT to help co-create, not replace, but enhance your creative process for social media content. Let's see how it did. Back to the full screen, please. Have you ever had a problem? I mean, I think we all have at some point. But guess what, y'all? My direct selling business has a new product that was developed by our founder in conjunction with a wellness expert to solve that pesky problem once and for all. I'm talking about X, the latest addition to our wellness ritual. It is like a magic potion that was brewed up in a cauldron. Okay, pause, full screen, back to me. Before anyone on this call who may or may not work in compliance has a total heart attack about claims of products being brewed in magic cauldrons, this is where our next step in the evolution of your digital persuasion power is using the pub method or whatever framework you like to use. Instead of using it to coach yourself from the ground up, you're now using it to coach AI. The future of prompt engineering is all about how eloquently we can communicate what we're looking for to AI. So you can use the pub method to remember how to coach AI tools like ChatGPT, like this. Please change the opening lines to be more personal to the reader. Replace I with you wherever possible. Delete impersonal and untrustworthy phrases like trust me or I'm telling you. Don't actually use the phrase direct selling. Replace the word pesky as it doesn't really sound natural. Replace magic potion in a cauldron with a more practical analogy. Useful. Offer a more useful, specific reason that they would actually need a new wellness product. And finally, brief. End the post with A or B, option 1 or 2. Do not end with an open-ended question or a call to action that is too shouty or too pushy. Let's see how ChatGPT responds to the pub method. Have you ever felt like you're running on fumes because you're so busy taking care of everyone else? Same, friend. Our latest wellness solution is going to blow your mind like a fireworks show on the 4th of July. Introducing Product X. Our founder and wellness expert put their heads together to create this little powerhouse of self-care that is perfect for people like us who need a little extra help in the wellness department. Okay, scoot down, final line. So which one would you try first, A or B? It's like choosing between chocolate or wine. Either way, you're going to be ecstatic. Okay, from there, I would say, let's not say over the moon, but you sort of see sort of the difference, how as you coach the ChatGPT, as you coach the AI, it begins to get closer and closer to something that you can actually use as a co-creative, not copy and paste, starting point. Success, my DSA friends, when it comes to using tools like ChatGPT to unlock your even more incredible persuasion power, to turn your sales skills into sales superpowers, is that success exists in those specifics. Now, once you feel comfortable that you have mastered the specifics around AI, from there, it is truly mind-blowing what you can make happen. You can take your best performing post and you can turn that into a TikTok video script, which can then be turned into an outline for your Zoom video training, which can then be turned into an outline for a 30-minute live keynote presentation at your next convention. From there, you can even use ChatGPT to come up with some pretty decent responses to a potential heckler in your Q&A that doesn't like the network marketing business model. They'll give you some pretty good responses that you can use to be better prepared. Now, if this is your first time seeing all of this, let's just pause and let's go for taking a breath, shoulders back, because friend, if you are like, oh my gosh, this is insane, you are now having what I like to call everyone's AI yay moment. I had it in December. I feel your pain. The good news is take a deep breath, because there is majorly good news when it comes to the possibilities here. The truth is, you can probably see what's making you feel maybe a little bit like, wow, this is a lot, is that outworking, out hustling your competition isn't really on the table anymore when everyone has access to these powerful tools and similar tech stacks and robots as personal assistants at our fingertips. But the opportunity you do have is you can outthink them, you can out-strategize them, and you can out-humanize your competition. The strategy that I am working on with CEOs of major Fortune 100s and high performers across all verticals is this. The key to thinking more strategically about your new relationship, defining your relationship with AI tools like ChatGPT, you want to delegate to double down. You want to figure out in your business, in social media content creation, where are there opportunities to delegate those lower level thinking moments to AI so that you can free up your precious time, energetic space, and creativity to double down on your emotional intelligence for the higher level thinking. Now, there are really 3 key areas where you want to be thinking about delegating to AI. And this could be an experiment that you just try over the next couple of days. The first area is when you think about doing your Monday night team calls, your Zoom calls, you can use, maybe it's on Facebook Live, you can use ChatGPT to create a more sequential training program versus feeling that like last minute paper due tomorrow college anxiety that you might feel before doing a training. You can now begin to build it out. Maybe do a 3 or 6 month game plan. So every time you're showing up as your big, bold, beautiful self on camera, which only you can do, because last time I checked, AI still cannot speak. Unless AI is coming out of your mouth and you are Stephen Hawking, we are more persuasive talking than we are typing. And right now, we still own the talking. So let's double down on it. So you can plan this training and free up that space of mapping out the game plan, the syllabus, so that you're not so tired. You jump on that call and you're full of life and energy. You can inspire your team in the way that only you can. Second opportunity is around customer service. If you're getting certain repeat FAQs in your DMs and your emails, you can begin to use AI to create some pretty decent responses that will sort of save you that time from always starting from scratch. Finally, social media content, which we kind of dipped our toe into the iceberg of what's possible when it comes to using ChatGPT to create social media content. More on that in a second. Now, the big takeaway, DSA friends, that I really want you to walk away feeling empowered and excited and calm is that there is a huge, huge opportunity for the direct selling industry in particular to really double down on EI. Persuasion is personal. This is your moment to figure out all the ways in your business where you can double down on what AI can never replace. And that is your radical humanity, your empathy, your creativity, your authenticity. This is an industry where you are able to change your life and change your business and help others and link arms, and a rising tide lifts all of those boats. But only when we double down on the fact that only you can be a dynamic storyteller. Only you can be a genuine, active listener. Only you can be someone that gives a real recommendation. Only you can be emotionally invested in recognizing opportunities for friends, for family, for your network, and bringing them with you on the incredible journey that you are on. Only you can be a connecting human who feels personally and deeply. And persuasion is personal. And so the key here I want you to think about is that as you see more things coming out of that Chat GPT and AI, just remember, this is not a replacement for you. It's an enhancement for you. It is a tool to allow you to open up your schedule, your energy, your time, wherever you can, to shine in the way that only you can, and that no robot will ever be able to replace. So that's ChatGPT. I think I'm coming up on my time. So we're actually not going to skip to Scott this time. Maybe at the end, Scott, I'm going to pull you up here as I land the plane. I told you brief's not my jam, but we'll land this plane here. So the final question that I've been getting a lot in conjunction on social media with AI is a lot of questions around mindset. And this is sort of the final thought I want to leave you with, friends. The biggest question that I get day in and day out is some iteration of the question, how can I stop feeling behind? And I hate, and I use the word hate very, very sparsely, very scarcely. And I really do detest getting that question, because if you think about how hard you are working with the gym and the dinner and the kids and the meeting and the business and the bills and the deadlines and the showing up and investing in you and your business like you're doing on this beautiful Monday morning, it makes me so sad to think that we're still, after giving our best, feeling behind. So there's 2 ways that we are going to squench that feeling, release it, and in the next 2 minutes, we are going to set it free, okay? The first one's practical. The second one is a little more emotional. Okay, number 1, the first way that you can stop feeling behind is I have put together for you my 3 most popular best-selling ebooks. Okay, Chat GPT for network marketers. Friends, it is a 30-page ebook that is breaking down for you the nitty-gritty from how do I even find Chat GPT, log in and create an account, to more advanced little pro tips around certain plugins that you can use, to take away the black background when you're copying and pasting content, other plugins that can change your tone of voice or your writing style. It's all in this ebook. You are going to love it and walk away feeling so empowered and so psyched. The second ebook is my Pub Method Ultimate Cheat Sheet. This is a 13-page prompt and key highlight point ebook that from your very next message, meeting, or high-stakes moment, you and your teams can run your message through the Pub Method to make sure you are amping up your persuasion power and unlocking your most influential self. And finally, I'm giving you my 100-page, count it, if you print it out, go double-sided, my 100-page big deal diary, which is all of my prompts and affirmations around unlocking what I like to call your big deal energy, stepping into the mindset that you need to not feel all the things anxiety, but instead to feel empowered, to feel ready, to feel more than confident, to feel audacious, to feel like that version of you that you just know when you're getting started, you just feel like, you know what? I've got this. I'm ready. I'm not behind. Okay, that's the first step. The second step is I want you to reframe this question. If you've been asking yourself, oh my gosh, I'm just starting to master social media and now there's AI. I want you to reframe that question from how can I stop feeling behind? How can I, no. I want you to start feeling like this question, empowered. How can I unlock more of an empowered feeling? And this is the fastest way that you can do it. I think the worst advice that people ever give, and I am landing this plane, Scott. I recognize I'm 5 minutes over. I'm landing it right now. Told you, brief's not my jam. I'm working on it. I think the best way for us to kind of approach this is to think about the worst advice ever, which is that when it comes to social media, yes, it's a highlight reel, but just don't compare yourself. Just don't compare yourself. Don't compare your real life to anyone's highlight reel. We have heard this advice. I don't know about you, but we are cavemen. We had DNA for survival. We had to compare ourselves. Do we back down? Do we step up? Friend or foe? Comparison has been baked into our DNA since the beginning of time. Now, maybe you have mastered it. And if you are, I salute you. You are a better human than me. Teach me your ways. But for most of us, it's really tricky to not compare our progress online with those of our teammates, our leaders, our executives, our friends. And so the fastest way for you to unlock your empowerment, unlock your big deal energy, break through that barrier of, oh, why can't I get ahead, is to make a very simple distinction. There is a huge difference between unhealthy comparison and a little healthy competition. Unhealthy comparison is seeing those individuals in your newsfeed and thinking, oh, I'm never going to keep up with her. I'm never going to be able to do this. Why not me? It sucks your joy. It sucks your creativity. It holds you back from being the big, beautiful, bold individual that you know yourself to be. So separating unhealthy comparison, which is a bless and block. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to analyze it. You don't have to judge it, but you do have to manage it. Bless and block. Give them an unfollow, wish them well on their way, and do what I do, which is follow a puppy account or someone who makes you feel like you are energized. The other side is healthy competition. These are the individuals in your newsfeed that you see, and you look at them, and something about the way they're showing up gets you excited. It gets you thinking, good job, her. Now let's go me. She can do it. I can do it. That little reframe of unhealthy comparison versus healthy competition is the fastest way to release those feelings of being behind and really step into your most persuasive and empowered self, from your messaging to your mechanisms and now this critical mindset. Now, for some of us, maybe who you're comparing yourself to isn't someone in your newsfeed, but maybe it's someone that you used to be. Maybe for you, there's the person you were before the last 2 or 3 years happened, and you're trying to decide who you want to be on the other side of what you just went through. Maybe for you, there was the you that existed before the thing happened, where everything was different after, and there's this new you. And maybe you see versions of her from the Facebook time hop 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you see that spark or you see that element and you think, gosh, where did she go? You know, we can't compare ourselves to the person we were. We can't compare ourselves to the people around us who are making us feel less than. But we can look around and take energy from events like this. Take energy from the individuals in your organization that when they do post, you do feel creative, you do feel inspired, you do feel motivated, but making sure there's a difference between the two and being intentional that the inputs that you are allowing yourself to take in for up to 3 months a year are intentionally positive and empowering, because those inputs, they're reflected in your outputs. And so as we salute you showing up today, as we salute you keeping your eye on your own paper, being radically grateful for showing up today, for putting in the work, for diving into polishing old approaches, using maybe the PUB method or whatever sales framework feels right for you being brave enough to try something new like AI, maybe ChatGPT, and even maybe with mindset, challenging yourself to rethink how you're intentionally taking in the messaging every single day with every scroll. Today is your moment to decide exactly the one specific action, because it's not going to be all the things, right? That's too complicated for our lifestyle. But what is the one action, trying the PUB method, experimenting with ChatGPT, or maybe just blocking, unfollowing those 2 or 3 humans that just make you feel smaller? Doesn't matter if it feels embarrassing, just set them free. Open that up for yourself. Today is the day for you to honor this journey and not just celebrate all the social media success that you'll continue to have after an incredible day like DSA Social Media Day, but to really honor and salute that you have showed up to step in to the version of yourself you know that you were born to become. I salute your show up, and I'm so grateful for the time that you have spent with us here today. My name's Erin King. DSA friends, I wish you all the success, all the love, all the joy, all the abundance that you so deserve, online, offline, and all the time. So thank you, Scott, for the honor of being with you here today, and can't wait to see all of your success stories. Please share them with me, and I look forward to seeing you all on the internet.
Thank you so much, Erin. That was amazing. Of course you went over. It's fine because you bring such huge value. That's the ChatGPT stuff. A reminder to everybody, go at your own pace. It's definitely learn it and test it. I'm playing around with it too. I love the way you kind of broke it down so simply. Thank you so much for that. It's a good way to go get started with it. And I love how you integrated PUB into it. It's brilliant. I'm gonna go play around with that, kind of asking it to go layer. That's brilliant. Erin, you're the best.